What's up, guys? Welcome to Demo with Mo. I'm your host, Monique Simmons. We'll be discussing dating, engaged, and married objectives from a young Christian's perspective. Are you guys ready? Let's dive in. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Demo with Mo. I am your host, Monique Simmons. Oh, how I have missed you guys so much. Welcome to season 5 of the podcast. I have thoroughly enjoyed the break, but I've missed you guys so much. So it has been bittersweet for me, but I hope you guys are as excited as I am to kick off this new season of the podcast. But I have been diligently working in the backgrounds during this off season. Something new that we're going to be doing this season. As we ended season 4, I closed out the season with a survey on my social media platforms to hear back from my listeners, from my audience, from you guys to see what more did you want from me as we go into this new season, into season 5. One of the things that I heard most was that you guys wanted me to do more interviews. So what I have been doing while I've been off, I really have not been off. I have been taking this time out to do more interviews. Something that I started last year in our relationship community. If you're not following me, if you're not part of this community, join us on Facebook at Dating, Engaged, and Married Objectives. We are a community there where we talk about all things regarding relationships, literally. No topic is off the table. If you want to discuss it, we will talk about it. So what I did last year, we kicked off something called Let's Talk, where we have these Facebook Live conversations that ended up going from Facebook Live to where we would go and meet on Zoom. And they would sometimes be bi-weekly or they would be monthly. And then they eventually, during my off season from the podcast, they would even sometimes be weekly conversations where we would just discuss things that people deal with in relationships. I mean, literally everything. Anything you wanted to talk about, I would put a survey out into the group, and whatever the majority voted on that they wanted to discuss for that week, that's what we would talk about. So something I thought about, since it was going so well in the group and the group loved it so much, and then when you guys, my podcast audience, expressed that you wanted me to have more interviews, I started to let the wheels turn, and I'm like, the Let's Talk conversations are so great. And usually with the Let's Talk conversations, it was just me, but the podcast community was joining in with me on the conversations. I said, we could bring the Let's Talk conversations to the podcast, but I could also invite guests on, and we could have the conversations where I would have a guest on, but the podcast community could ask questions, they could give feedback, and we could all do this together. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It's a win-win situation to me. And you guys, I had so much fun with this. My guests loved it. The relationship community loved it. We just had an amazing time. So today we're going to kick off season 5 with one of our Let's Talk conversations. And I really hope that you guys enjoy this so much. For the first one, we're going to do Let's Talk Couple Friends. And for this one, it was very special to my heart because when the group voted on wanted to talk about couple friends, meaning they wanted to really discuss how do couples make friends with other couples? How do you build these relationships? How do you invest in these relationships? Where do you go to meet these people? Once you meet these people, how do you keep the relationship going? If you and your partner are different, how do you guys find a couple that both of you guys can connect with and grow with? And all of those questions are going to be answered in today's episode. But when they voted on this topic, I thought it would be perfect that I would invite my personal friends, people that I have close, intimate relationships that are my own couple friends with my husband and I thought it would be perfect that I would invite them on and have this conversation with them so you guys could see in a live, practical real way that you can make couple friends, that you can invest in these relationships, that it can work and it can happen. So I really hope you guys enjoy my conversation with my guest on today, who happen to be my closest friends as well. But I don't want to hold you guys up any longer. Again, I have missed you guys oh so much. If you're not already, remember to follow me on Instagram at Demo with Mo Podcast, on TikTok and Facebook at Demo with Mo. But without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Thank y'all for joining me on tonight on Let's Talk Couple Friends. I have joining me Lakenya and Delvin VanNorman, Averi Leggett, and Bruce Jenkins. So I do this thing called Let's Talk. And it started back in September last year when we were celebrating Sexual Awareness Month in September. And to close out the month, I did this Let's Talk About Sex because, as you guys know, my podcast is from the perspective of a young Christian woman. And in the Christian community, especially among married Christians, I don't know why, but it's such a stigma around talking about sex, which is crazy to me because God created sex for marriage, and you would think we would be the people that are talking about sex the most, but we're not. So I wanted to close out the month with having a conversation about sex where people could really just come together and have this place where we could talk about sex and it not be some uncomfortable conversation. Well, it was such a great turnout that people wanted to go into having more of the Let's Talk conversation. So this how this Let's Talk spanned off into something even bigger. So we started having these bi-weekly conversations where we would have these conversations via Facebook when I went live every other week, where we would have these different conversations on things that couples faced or dealt with or went through in their relationships. Because as you guys know, we all face things in our relationships. We're human, we're flawed. It's going to be things that come up. So we talked about finances, and we talked about having date nights, and we talked about just various things. So tonight we're going to talk about couple friends, and is it important to have other relationships with other couples, and how do you make couple friends, and the various things dealing with couple friends. So when I reached out to the group, we have a private Facebook group, and I reached out to them and asked them what if they want our Let's Talk conversation to be about this month. They voted and they wanted to talk about couple friends. So when they mentioned this to me, I'm like, who better would it be for me to talk to about this conversation than my friends, who are actually my couple friends because they're in relationships and we're all friends. So I reached out to them, they agreed, and here we are. I just took this long way of saying this, but that's why I have Danny and Delvin here and Averi and Bruce here joining me on tonight. So I'm not going to hold us up any longer. Guys, welcome to Let's Talk. I appreciate you guys agreeing to this and having this conversation with me tonight. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you, Monique. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, so this first question, do you think it's hard for most couples to find other couple friends? Danny and Delvin.
I would say it depends on you individually of how you approach finding friendships. If you have a hard time just finding individual friendships, I could see it being an issue or maybe not being a strong suit of yours. But if you can personally cultivate relationships and friendships, don't think it'd be a hard thing to do. Just getting to know people and kind of seeing if you guys are a good fit or just maybe a high level relationship, not very intimate. Just depends on the person.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I guess only thing I would add to that is also depends on the area that you're in. If you're in a area where you already have friends and stuff, and then as you and your friends grow, naturally there become couples that way. But if you're moving to a new area, I can see that being difficult. But it's all about getting involved. I think it's if you go to like different areas where that you common interests with other people. For instance, church. That's a way to find friends. But then it's also difficult, like you said, if you already a person that's having a hard time making new friendships and stuff, that can be a little difficult. But I would say just go with what interests you, and then you can meet people that way too.
Oh, this is good. Okay, let me ask this. And the only reason I'm asking is because, like I said, I invited you guys on because I'm personally friends with y'all. So I have a little bias here. I know you guys. So then with you, we have invested over 10 years in friendship. Like we were very close. And then you got married and you moved away, which was hard on us and our friend group because we've invested a lot. Like we were not just on the surface friends as far as our friend group. We did a lot. We were intertwined in each other's lives. So how was that adjustment for you to have such close friendships here and to now having to adjust with now meeting your husband's friends or meeting, having to meet new people and build new couple friends?
Well, honestly, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, personally, I was distraught about leaving you guys. Cause again, it was more than just, hey girl, how you doing? We was there. We was like, this.
Yeah.
But moving here, Delvin already had relationships. So do you know how I was a single friend in our group because everybody else was married? He was a single friend in his group and everyone else was married. So when I came here, the wives literally just welcomed me into the fold, where I'm, it's not, of course, not as long as my relationships with you guys, but I've pretty much been cultivated and ingrained into their friend family circle here. So, I mean, they are amazing group of women, mothers. Same way I can call them. They're they're here. I know I can call you guys, but they're here if I need something, there. But it was a really easy transition because he had already set the groundwork to have those relationships with good people.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that so much. I love that.
They did.
They all replaced me.
The women, they replaced him with me. They did.
Averi, what do you think? What do you think about? Is it hard for couples to find other couple friends?
I think that you have to, I don't think it's hard to find them. I think it's hard to maintain the relationship because you do have to find people that share like common interests first. And that's already hard as an adult, especially when everybody's life is moving in different directions. You start having children and other responsibilities. And then you have to find somebody who first shares common interests, and then y'all can find time to get together, to hang out. And when you hang out with that person, you'll find out like if you vibe with them or not. Because sometimes you will think, oh, this person will make a good friend for me. But until you actually go out with them, you don't really know. Because sometimes you'll find out like, nah, I don't think I want to do that again, So really you just have to, put yourself out there and be willing to try new people. I know that's like the thing with me right now since I moved to a new place. I don't know a lot of people here. And I have this one set of couple friends that I hang out with, and they're okay, but they are younger than me. So a lot of times I have to remember that the time that they're in, as far as their relationship and their age and their experiences are not the same as mine, And then I have to give them grace because I'm like, okay, well, I ain't gonna say they don't know no better, but they just haven't had enough experience to understand, why they shouldn't be upset about what they're going through or why it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about
this. Okay. Bruce, what about you?
I think it will really just depend on the couples themselves and individuals, the type of people that they are as far as knowing themselves and the type of people they will want to be around. Because everybody's different. Me personally, I have like a very, very high preference on the type of people that I surround myself with. So in other words, my circle is pretty small. But I'm open to learning more about individuals and getting to know them on a certain level, and then making a judgment call of if that's, somebody I want to be around all the time.
Okay.
Because I look at it like everybody that comes into your circle or comes in your vicinity, they may be friendly, but they're not true friends. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, make a lot of sense.
So I kind of fall back just a little bit and people, kind of keep my eye on people before I actually make a decision on if that's someone I can truly look to be a friend.
Okay. So you guys, the follow-up question to this was, if so, why do you think that is? But you guys have already answered that with your answer. You've already told me why that could be hard. So that next question is, do you feel it's important to a relationship or marriage to have relationships with other couples? Danny and Delvin, what do you guys think? Is this important?
Yeah, it's important. And I just follow up on something that Averi said earlier. I was trying to keep from jumping in. I think it's important to have a relationship with other couples, because a lot of times in marriages or in relationships, you go through things and it makes seem that you're the only one who's going through that.
Oh, yes.
So it's good to have a good relationship with good couples where you can talk through situations. But even deeper than that, what our situation here in Florida is, we have good relationship with couples in different stages of their relationship. So we're like the newlyweds of the group. But then we are friends with people who've been married like 10 years. And then we have friends with people who've married like 25, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And so for us coming in, like, oh, we have an issue with this. And then the 10-year group was like, oh, that's nothing. And then the 25-year group, if we have an issue with that, like, oh, y'all talking about nothing. We've been through that, done that a couple of times. Wait till this happens. So it's good to have people in different stages as well to talk to things.
Yeah, that's so true. Because I promise, it can, in the moment, if you don't have some, and it can't just be anybody. You, as Bruce said, you got to be mindful of your friends, like the people that you call friends. Because some people, they're just associates, people you can go out and have a good time with, some people you can do lunch with, but the people you doing marriage and relationships with and invest in your life with, these got to be some good people you surround yourself with, because you're opening yourself and being vulnerable about your relationship and your life. And you got to be careful of who you allow in that part of you. Exactly. You can't do that with everybody. So sometimes you can literally be going through things in your relationship and your marriage, and you can think this is the end. Like it to other people, it can be so simple. Like this is nothing. But in that moment, to you and your partner, this can literally feel like this is the end. We won't survive this. This is over. Like, let's just go ahead and get the divorce papers ready. But if you got some good people around you who have come through some things, who walked through some things, who can be there to support you and encourage you and pray for you, they can be like you said, those people that's been there 10 years or 25 years, they can be like, man, that is nothing. We've been through that. We've come through that. You guys are going to be okay. You're going to make it through that. When you got that around you, that's encouraging. That helps you to know, okay, my marriage is not over. You know, this is not the end. okay, somebody else went through this and made it out on the other side. But imagine the couples who don't have that, who don't have those couple friends, who are literally going through the stuff that we go through alone. Like, I could not imagine some of the things my husband and I have walked through and having to walk through them alone. We wouldn't have made it. I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like we would have, because we wouldn't have made it. So I appreciate my circle of couple friends. I really do appreciate y'all. Okay, so Danny, what you think? Is it important?
Yes, pretty much everything Delvin said, but to kind of add on to what something you said is even the Bible talks about this, not just advice, but it talks about wise counsel. So the relationships of those couples need to be people who believe in what you believe in marriage. Because if you've got somebody that they don't believe marriage is sacred and you can do anything and everything, that may not be the person you want to listen to. But the relationships you have, you want it to be people that understand marriage the way that you understand it, that your vows, how you took your vows, what that means. And don't get it wrong, I know everyone has their own things that you do in your house, but to me, everybody that I associate with have the same principles and perspective of what the foundation of marriage is. So having those relationships, again, can basically save you a lot of heartache. And also those relationships, even in our group, sometimes they hold your foot to the fire. They're not always, that's like, oh, Delvin did something. No, my girls on both sides, Mississippi and Florida girls, both be like, oh, Danny, no, you can't be, you said that. No, honey. You have to do better than you're doing. But yes, I think it's very important to get those perspectives. And even the Bible says that, that the older women teach the younger women, how to be wise. So having those different areas, those different, like he said, the 10 to 15 years, the 30 years. And I saw that before I got married from New Life. I had great examples to follow there, and even some in my family. And then when I got here to have that same example, I do believe it's extremely important.
And another thing I like to add to it too is it's helpful to have those relationships in different stages for things outside of the relationship. Because you think about, like say we younger, we still have our parents and stuff right now. Yeah. At some point, you already know that your parents gonna get older, and that's gonna be a strain too. At some point when you have to take care of them or lose a parent. So have couples who've been through that before. So other things outside the marriage too.
Oh yeah, I agree. Avery, what you think?
I do, just to keep you accountable and on track with whatever your goals are as a independent person and as a couple. Yeah. And you within those relationships that you make with other couples, because I've had some couples to give me some bad advice, like, and even like in me and Bruce's situation, we're not married yet, and we have like an unconventional relationship because he spends a lot of time away from home. And I've had people say, well, he ain't there, get you a friend, do this and do that. So you automatically know these are not the type of people I want to associate myself with, because they don't have the same morals as me. The goal is marriage. So why would I do, So you just make sure that you align yourself with the right people and have people who are not afraid, like Danny said, to tell you when you're wrong.
Ooh, girl.
Say some stuff or get mad and hang up the phone. Then I'll call my friend thinking she's going to be on my side, and then she give me an earful. Like, nah, you was wrong for doing that, So you need those type of people in your life. So yes, it is important.
Ooh, girl, you just said a whole mouthful.
Wow.
Bruce, what you think? What you thinking over there, Bruce?
Really have much to add to that. I really don't. Just kind of tagging on what you all said. I think the biggest thing is that you want to have a couples as a support system.
Yeah.
And mainly look at that as, I mean, you're going to get advice, good and bad, either way. But I think taking the things that will benefit your relationship that you can use as a stepping stone to build on, I think that'll be the best part of it. But as far as just focusing on having other couples as a relationship, yeah, I mean, it's that's what you want. That's the key to any relationship, in my opinion.
And then I want to add one thing. Like, I do think that it's important to have a good time, to hang out, to take trips, make memories with others and stuff. But like the most important part is, like y'all said, the advice, the accountability, and just making sure that people are on the same path as you.
Yeah.
Because we can go out and have fun with anybody, but what if the relationship no substance? Yeah. Like at the end of the day, all you want to do is have fun all the time, or do you have the same goal as me? So that's all.
That's good, yeah. Y'all said a whole bunch. Y'all all have said a whole bunch right there. And for me, that biggest part is the accountability. Like that is for me personally, that is the most important to me, because, and not even just in the relationship or the marriage, because that accountability with yourself individually, that's going to benefit your marriage, period. So the people you're talking to, because I would hope if these are people that you're friends with, you guys have a relationship where you're talking to each other about all things dealing with life. It's not even just about your relationship or marriage, but anything with your life, with your job, with your faith, with your raising your children, like it literally everything dealing with your life. That accountability piece is going to pour in or overflow into your relationship or your marriage anyway. But it's just good to have that accountability, because sometimes, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes if your partner or your spouse is trying to hold you accountable, it can sometimes feel like an attack. You don't really want to hear it, or you can't hear it from them because you take it personal. But when it comes outside of your relationship, or from a friend or someone loves you or cares about you, you're more apt to hear it or receive it from them. Okay, I probably was wrong on what I said. I probably do need to go apologize to them. So it benefits your relationship or your marriage a lot. Like it really does. So I appreciate you guys' perspective on that. Okay, what do you do if one partner what do you do if one partner in a relationship isn't open to getting to know or building relationship with other couples? And this is something, and I'm tickled because this is something that I hear a lot from other couples. Like one partner in a relationship, they are open and they're ready to build relationships and get to know other couples. But one partner maybe have trust issues, or they may have had a bad experience. And I can say personally, this was an issue a long time in my own marriage, because my husband does not trust people. And I'm saying this because he'll tell you this himself. He just don't trust people. You like that too, Bruce?
Oh yeah.
So we struggle with this, because y'all know me. I don't meet a stranger. I just don't. So we struggle. We had to compromise with this thing. So I want to know from you guys, what do you do in this situation? If you want to meet people and get to know other couples, this would be beneficial to your relationship, but maybe your partner is not open. They're not ready. What do you do? Danny and Delvin, what do you do?
Well, like I said earlier, I was blessed to come into a group that was kind of already cultivated. Actually, we have a group chat of the couples, the husbands and wife, on GroupMe.
Okay.
So we kind of have that group. Now, you know me, Mo. I am not I'm kind of like team no new friends.
I know.
So I can say So it is hard when we're talking new friends. But I think it comes with compromise, because you can't just be like, oh no, we're just not going to meet anybody. We have to make a compromise. We're kind of going through something like that now.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a compromise to at least try to see if this is, a couple we want to be more friendly with. But,
okay. But I like how you say it, more friendly.
Well, because on the surface, I was just kind of like, no new friends. Like, and I'm one of you and putting in the effort. That's another thing. Like sometimes I know people say this, women, men, especially for the opposite sex, they can see stuff that you can't.
Yeah.
When it comes to like a guy, like if a guy's all like super chatty with me and like, oh, let's hang out. I want to meet your husband. The other might see it and see something I don't see. Like, girl, he ain't trying to hang out with me. He trying to do something else. And then I may see it from the other side as well of like, well, she not really trying to, make the effort with me. She seemed like she don't want to be my friend. So maybe you and him should just be, if that's what you want. I don't want no parts of it. But I think as a couple, we should at least sit down, communicate, make a compromise. I'm working on it.
Good for you, Danny.
I'm smiling because it's kind of a hard question for me to answer, because if you know us, you know me and Danielle kind of like the same person.
Literally.
And in a lot of ways. And I'm saying that to say, if we don't like people, it's like we both don't like them.
Yeah.
So we don't really have. I kind of know what you're talking about, but when you're talking about that couple, but I just hang out with the guy. I'll put it that way. Yeah, so I just go with what she said.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Since she, in you guys' relationship, she is more the person who is team no new friends. How you being the partner who may be a little more open than she is, how can you encourage her? Because I know some people may be listening to this and they may be more like you. How do I encourage my partner to compromise or be more open to meeting new people? Like, how would you help them? What would you say to them?
Well, I guess me and Bruce is kind of the same. I kind of evaluate the situation from afar.
Okay.
And then, then I try to convince like they're good people or whatever. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, I just go in with that lens first.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
Got you. Avery, what you think? What do you do if one partner is? Oh, I'm assuming you're the open partner because Bruce already told me he don't trust people. So are you the open partner?
Yeah, don't.
My goodness. One thing I will say is, even I see the good in the devil. Okay, yeah. I still find good qualities about somebody who's terrible, right?
Yeah.
And Bruce, like, once you tell him about somebody, he automatically can make a decision about whether this person would be good for you or not.
Mm-hmm.
I just be trying to get him to like be a people person, but it's just like, once you do something that don't line up with the type of person he is, he'd be like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Okay.
And like, you just gotta try. You gotta see. You don't know yet. Give the person a chance. You gotta give people grace. You gotta get to know them. And then if they do something to you, because everybody's relationship is not gonna be the same with each person that they meet.
That is true.
They do something to you specifically, then you have a reason to be like, oh no, I'm not dealing with that person. But just on hearsay, I don't think you should make a decision about whether or not that person would be a good couple friend or not.
Okay. So don't go by hearsay. You need to have your own personal experience.
Yes.
Okay.
Bruce.
Okay. Bruce, what you thinking over there?
Now, just tag on what she said here.
Okay.
Now, I agree with what you said. I really do, wholeheartedly. I'm open to meeting new friends.
Okay.
At the same time, but if you're telling me they're acting a specific way with certain people that I don't know, who's to say they're not going to come into our circle and act that way with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be my biggest thing. And then when I initially meet this person, yes, I've already prejudged them, but at the same time, I'm keeping that in the back of my mind, but I'm still open to trying to find out who they are on an individual status on my own. But if I'm still seeing these same tendencies that you told me about way back when, then it's like, okay, I see the road they're going, same situation about to happen. So now we just gonna cut that off.
Okay. Bruce, I'm actually not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that at all.
Don't
Okay.
care.
And what
Avery, I will say this because I told you guys earlier when I wanted to do the Let's Talk, well, not that I wanted to, but the group voted on us having a Let's Talk about couple friends. I first thought of you guys because I know you guys personally. You are my friends. Mm-hmm. We know that you will kind of deal with stuff that most of us won't deal with. So I understand what he's saying. You already told us that you will see the good in the devil himself.
I'm just looking out for her. That's all. I'm just looking out for her. That's
he ain't
all.
all bad.
That's all.
Thank you, Bruce. We appreciate you. We really do appreciate you.
Yeah, he ain't all bad. He used to be an angel.
Yeah,
we appreciate you.
He used to be.
Because Avery, Monique is not lying. We do appreciate you having her back because
we do, Bruce.
She is a sweetheart, and they mean well, and we like Avery, baby.
Yeah, we do appreciate you, Bruce. We really.
And
do.
I was gonna say this is a good example of having like two different types of personalities in a relationship. You have the friend Avery, who's very friendly. Bruce is like, get away. And then me and Danielle's kind of similar. Like if she don't like it, then chances are I'm probably not gonna like it.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about couples. We usually marry or get into relationships with our opposites, and we balance each other out. If we don't kill each other, and if we don't see the other person as being wrong, because just because your partner is different from you, don't make them wrong. You guys are just different. But we balance each other out, which is a beautiful thing. So, okay. So Rashad and Keisha, welcome to our Let's Talk Couple Friends. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, honey. So our next question is, this is a good one because this is a question that you hear a lot. Okay. So what are some different ways you can meet other couples to build these friendships? So we're talking about couple friends, and we said that it's important and it benefits your relationship. But how do these people meet couple friends? Because a lot of us, we were already friends, and then, like Danielle, for example, Danielle and I were already friends. Danielle got married, so Delvin became part of our friends, and Delvin already had his friend group. So when Danny got married to Delvin, she became part of his friend group. That just beautifully happened that way, but everybody doesn't have that experience. So what about the couples who don't have that? How do they meet these couple friends? Danny and Delvin, what do they do?
So, like you said, with us, how we already kind of have friends, but one way we have continued to make more friends is through the friendships that we already have. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how you were our core person, everybody's friend in our friend group, but we all built our own individual relationships outside of Monique. I became close with Angie, Avery, Ray. So that was one of the ways we've extended some of our couple friends. Also,
we talked about meeting couples through church and stuff. And so the church down here, they have what they call life groups for different ages. They have like a married life group, singles life group, and different things like that, where, couples can get together outside of church to hang out and do things, whatever. And that's an excellent way to meet people through like a church setting, and then actually see if y'all bond
Mm-hmm.
So that's another way.
And another one for me, and also if you're looking to do anything like professional groups, we talked about having those interest groups that you're in. So for me, I'm starting to kind of get out more. So I have like SWE, Society of Women Engineers, National Society of Black Engineers. We have energy resource groups at work if you want to do that. But finding someone, again, making that individual connection of a friendship, and then seeing if they have a significant other or in a relationship or marriage, and then building a relationship from that. So those are probably the most of the ways that, and also alumni groups, especially if you live off. I mean, you can find an alumni group. Again, you want like-minded people. So, I mean, clearly if you chose Jackson State, you chose great. So finding things, or not say that, but any, HBC or any college group, Delvin actually has an alumni chapter here, Mississippi State alumni chapter. So finding those interests with people, and then kind of just building from that.
Those are good. Y'all gave me a lot of them. Okay. Averi and Bruce, what do you guys thoughts? Where do they go meet these couple friends?
You want to go first?
I don't have a comment for that one.
Well, I guess we could first start with the people that we know. As far as the group that we have, we can set dates to say, okay, we're going to take a trip during this time. We're going to get together, do group chats just to talk about issues that we might be going through to get advice or be held accountable. We can start there. And then, like for me, moving away from home to a place where I don't know anybody but like one cousin, I met someone at my job and we just kind of start hanging out and stuff. But I would like to get to know, I guess, more couple friends. But I'm one of those people who would have to figure it out, like where to start, who to meet, who's good, who's bad, because once I meet a person, I'm like 100% all in from day one. And then can take advantage of that in all ways, and just, I don't know, you got to find the right friends.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What you think?
I'm listening to all these suggestions right now.
You don't know?
I don't have any comment.
I'll say that I would.
Though.
Like, I know that sometimes he'll mention to me, like, some of his friends are in relationships, and I would like to get to know, I guess, some of those people. I guess it's like a extension of getting to know who your partner is, to get to know the people who he's friends with and what kind of people that he likes to hang out with. So those would be some good couple friends if you're looking to find a way to make some. And letting him get to know Delvin or get to know Corey, because y'all are married and we are on our way to that, so y'all could probably offer him some advice that I can give him because I'm not a husband, so we could start.
I like that. Keisha, were you going to say something?
I'm just listening in because as of now, my husband, he's at work, so I wanted him to join. He said he would join, but he had to go to work, so I'm sorry, y'all. But my husband, he's a introvert to the heart. He like he would get out, but he's like, once he warm up, it's like he's very outgoing. He's a funny guy, but like just saying, okay, baby, let's go and meet up with this couple and have this double date. He was like, you know them? How you know them? Where you know them from? Like he would be like that. So I'm just trying to get him to the point to where we are, he will be comfortable because I'm the more outgoing person in our marriage. He's not. So I would have to like warm him up into and let him know, look, it's good. It's safe over here.
Girl, this is so funny that you're saying this because literally right before you logged on, this is what we were just talking about. That was the question. What do you do if one partner in a relationship?
I looked at the clock. I was like, golly, it's 7:30 something.
We literally, y'all, did we just get done talking about this? We literally, because every one of us have a partner in our relationship or our marriage that is that exact same way. So we were talking about how do you handle it? What do you do if one partner isn't open to it? It's like your husband who's more, for whatever reason, they may be introverted or they may have trust issues or they're, as Danielle said, team, no new friends. Who these new people you trying to bring around me? So yeah, We literally just got
Yeah.
done talking
So
about
I
that.
mean, I'm sorry, y'all, if I had to backtrack. So
Girl, you
excuse
fine.
me.
Don't
But
apologize.
yeah, like I would love to do like a double date to where we can all say, let's go bowling or let's go do something like this. Like I would definitely be open to that. But like I say, I'm trying to get him into the groove of like being around, married couples and not just
Yeah.
saying, oh, I'm going to hang out with my girls and you're going to hang out with your guys or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Like, let's go and do this as one. Like, let's
Yeah.
do this together. But unfortunately, we don't have any married friends. Like, all of our friends are like single or they're in relationships, but they're not married. And it's like not solid enough for us to be like, okay, we should go out with them or we can go out with them.
We just got done talking about that, being mindful of the type of couples that you hang around too, because just because they're in a relationship or just because they're married don't mean that's the type of people that you want to hang around, because every couple ain't the couple you need to be hanging around. So yeah,
We learned the hard way. I'm sorry, y'all. I got
Yeah.
stories to tell on that. We learned the hard way.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
Yeah. I agree with Keisha, and I'm sorry. I hate I got on late too, but I feel the same exact way Keisha does. But I do. Yeah, I like what you said, Averi, earlier. About the extension, about learning about your spouse, about the others through friends. And one thing like Keisha said, one person might be an introvert. And what do you do when that person is and the other person is outgoing? It's hard. It's difficult because you want to go and say, yeah, let's go out bowling or something. And they might do it for their first time or two, but afterwards they might let you know, I don't feel comfortable at this. And you won't do it because you don't want them to feel uncomfortable. So it puts you in a hard place. I'm really enjoying this because I like that nugget that you said, Averi. So I'm going to try to start using that to see if we can meet other people, talk to our friends or other couples so that we can learn more from our spouses through the extensions from others.
I agree with that too. Like that was good. That was good because it's definitely a task trying to get your partner on board when you like, yeah, let's go. Like I know it's good over here, and they like, I'm gonna see you can go. I'll just sit on the sideline. That look, my
Let me
husband
ask
is a
y'all
whole
this.
job.
Let me ask y'all this. Have y'all ever tried to do a group outing, like a group date instead of just a double date?
We did with like my brother-in-law, like my in-laws. We did, and it was like for me personally, I was like, no. And he was like, yeah, it's good over here. But I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I was like, maybe, okay, we can meet each other in the middle and meet people that we don't know. And we can both agree to say, like, yeah, we could do this again. Or, yeah, that's cool. Like we could do that. That's fair for me. But
So
just saying like my in-laws, no.
What about the date nights we do with the podcast group each month? Have you ever mentioned it to him about coming out?
I did, and that right there is a task within itself. Like that's gonna take a whole nother call.
Yeah, I got you. And the only reason I mentioned the group outing because that takes, especially for somebody that's introverted, it would be less pressure because if you're on a double date, you're kind of forced to have to really talk to the other couple because it's just you guys. Versus in a group setting, you really don't have to feel as much pressure because you're in the group, but you can still kind of just hang with your partner or kind of be out to the side, but still be with the group, if that makes sense. That works for my marriage. So, just an idea.
Yeah. I know that like next week, me and Bruce are going to Vegas with some couples that we never met.
Oh, okay.
Stepping out on faith, baby.
Bruce, what did you say?
They're stepping out on faith, baby.
It's gonna be okay, Bruce. Okay, let me ask you this. How did this happen?
My friend who lives in Jackson, she turned 40 and she is single, but all of her friends are in relationships. and she wants to go to Vegas for her birthday. She was like, I don't care. It's just gonna be me, but y'all can bring y'all significant others. So there's 4 couples, 4 or 5. 5 couples, and then her.
Oh, so these are her friends, though.
I think one of them is her brother and his fiance, and then one of them is her friend, and then the other 2 are just people that they invited. So she don't know. So we are going on a trip to Vegas for her 40th birthday from Thursday to Sunday. So they got like this whole itinerary of stuff planned, but we can already see like with the group text and on these Zoom calls that we doing stuff like we just got to try.
Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. This is the first big step here.
Yeah, we'll go with an open mind, Bruce. Go with an open mind.
I'm open to it now. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be going. So.
At the end of the day, you're gonna be with Avery, and that's all that matters. If you ain't enjoying them people, you and Avery can go do your own thing.
What Avery's saying is they have an itinerary. Y'all just
That's right. But that's just like a lot of compromising that I'm sure that we're gonna have to do. But I'm open to it because I just wanted to get away from life, from kids, from, and just be able to enjoy my partner and get to know him more, but also celebrate my friend's birthday. But I'm just glad that we're going to have an opportunity to be around, hopefully, like-minded individuals.
Yeah. Okay, y'all. So this next question is, how do you find other couple friends if you don't have friends who are in relationships? So as Keisha said earlier, all her friends are single. How do you find couple friends if you don't have friends who are in a relationship? Danielle and Delvin.
Well, like we stated earlier, we both were the single person.
Oh yeah.
In our friend group, which was, I guess you would say, somewhat of the opposite, because I was like the single friend, but y'all could never find me nobody. As Sister First and them said, she's scared had to go all the way to Florida.
I know, right?
To get somebody.
It was Dallas.
We did meet in Dallas.
Oh yeah, at the wedding.
Yes, I'm so sorry, sir. But so I guess, if you don't have anybody, again, it goes back to what you're interested in and finding like-minded people, whether that be in church and extracurricular activities. We don't have children yet. So I do hear of friends who make friends through the parents that they meet through their children with play dates or extracurricular activities. We don't have kids, but again, we have a lot of children in our lives. I have a football game this Friday night, and I think a dance. So Monique know how this go. So that's another way of meeting people if you don't already have those friends. I guess things that you like. Like I like to talk, so I will just chat up anybody anywhere. Delvin be looking at me like, why? How? Like, did you meet her in the bathroom? Yes, I did.
She always finds a cousin.
Yeah, in his mind, I always find somebody from Mississippi because I'm like, oh, you from Mississippi? He's like, nope, no, ma'am. No.
And they know somebody that knows somebody.
Well, it's Mississippi. We all
always.
So that would be my advice. Just making, again, the individual person making relationships, and then if they're in a relationship or married, then I guess by proxy, you would make that relationship happen because, okay, for instance, so Monique and our other friend, Angie, and their spouses came to Florida. They surprised me because Delvin knew they were coming, but our husbands had never hung out before y'all came down here, and it was like they had been knowing each other because we went our separate ways, they went their separate ways, and we met back up in the middle. So really, just kind of getting out there. Putting yourself, like Bruce said, going out on faith sometimes.
I would say, I think the key part of that is finding individual friends that are like-minded to you, because you're going to have the same interests, the same goals. If you find people like that, same interests, same goals, then in my opinion, everything else kind of like follows. Example, because if they meet someone, then you know what type of person that they're meeting because you know them. And then it just grows from there. So I think the key is just finding individual friends who are like-minded to you.
That is good. And Danielle, you just made me think of something. And I don't advise those of you who are on this call or those of you who may be listening to this in the future. I do not advise you to do this. I just want to put this disclaimer out there. This is something that I did, but I do not advise you to do this. So I told you guys, my husband, he does not trust very many people versus me. I like to make friendships. I like to meet people. I like to hang out. I like to enjoy my people. That's just who I am. So I wanted to build couple friends. This was in the earlier years of our marriage. So one of our girlfriends who is a part of our group chat, is you've heard Danny, Averi, and I reference many times through this Zoom call tonight. One of our girlfriends from our group chat, we planned a trip. So our husbands had never met before, but I wanted them to get to know one another because we were friends and I wanted our husbands to become friends. So I had this great idea to plan a trip and surprise them with each other. Again, I do not advise you to do this, but this is what I did. So their first time meeting one another was on this trip. And we had an amazing time. I just want to put that out there. This may not work out the same way for you, but it worked out for us. They had an amazing time. So the same way they all got together when we were in Florida, and that was their first time hanging out with Delvin. And again, we had an amazing time. So I'm just putting that out there. I'm not encouraging you to do that, but I knew if I just put these people in the room together that they would love each other as much as I love their wives. So I'm just saying.
But I would say that comes back to, like I said, individuals. Yeah. And because you all are friends and y'all know each other's spouses, then you probably would know, like, hey, this probably wouldn't be a good idea to put these two together.
Yeah, right. Right.
So, like I said, it always comes down to like individual and knowing each other that way.
And like you said, making those good decisions and knowing the type of couples and making sure that they are like-minded people.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Averi and Bruce, what are your thoughts on this? If all your friends are single, not in a committed relationship, how do you meet other couple friends?
Well, I think that you can still hang out. I don't necessarily agree with that. Like when people say, "Oh, you're in a relationship, so your friends got to be in a relationship too."
Yeah,
I think that the single person still has to be a good person, a good fit to hang out with you and your partner. Mm-hmm. Like, a woman is really promiscuous, like you feel like you can't trust her in the room with your significant other or your husband, then even when she get in a relationship, she ain't gonna be no good couple friend. It's just about meeting people while they're single, and if they're a good person, they're a good person. If they're not, they're not. And then going back to the thing where you said that y'all took a trip, and what Keisha was saying about how her husband is an introvert, like I remember several times throughout our 10 plus year friendship when I have been like invited to places, but I'll be like, oh no, this happened, that happened. But really my spouse just wasn't open to doing that kind of stuff. He'll be like, man, no, I gotta go to work Monday. You talking about a weekend trip? Or did you do this? Is this and that in order? Like he will make every excuse instead of just saying, I'm not a people person. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now I'm with a person who is like more open to doing stuff like that. So it's about the person that you're with too. Like it doesn't matter if the person that you meet is in a relationship or if they're single. I think it's just about who vibe with y'all. Like, cause I know some people right now who I associate myself with, but when it comes to Bruce, she ain't gonna be around him and she's single, but no, because I'll be on the news. But
I gotta high five you on that. Just tell me you don't vibe with these people.
Yeah.
Right. So we ain't even gotta talk about this no more. Like I ain't even gotta ask you no more.
Yeah, people just not a good fit. Like I have even met somebody I don't know, I think we was at a baby shower at the same time. And I thought that she was going to be like a good fit to be hanging out with us and stuff like that. It ain't work out. It ain't work out at all. And I was just like, well, then it took a turn quickly. Like, you start having side conversations with my spouse because I gave you his number to meet up to get something for me and stuff. And I'm just like, you know what? That's what I get for trying with people.
Averi, I'm gonna come whoop you. I'm just gonna come whoop you. I'm coming to whoop you. I'm just coming to whoop you. I just want you to know.
Because most gonna say you should have gave her the number. You shouldn't have did that.
I just made you know what I would say. I ain't even gotta say it.
I can hear your voice. I can hear y'all voice when I make bad decisions now. That's why I'm better.
I don't know. I can kind of see where you came from with that too, Averi. But because I'm kind of like that way too. I'm a just friendly person, and I hate, I don't want to look at everybody out there like they could be, have something mischievous going on. So I'm always trying to give a person a benefit of the doubt until you prove me wrong. But I'm like that too, because I always thought I used to hang around a lot of couples because I used to hang around my cousins a lot who were married before I was. And so I always felt I didn't want anybody to think that I was going to react or feel a certain way about somebody else's spouse. It was a hard position for me to play because I was the only one who wasn't with the spouse at the time or didn't have anybody. So I always felt bad about being the odd one and didn't want to, So I'm always looking at other people like that too. I don't want them to feel bad about something. So try to include them or whatever. So yeah, always giving people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree with that 100%, Rashad. 100%. I even know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the phone numbers because I'm friendly, 100%. Danielle has already mentioned to y'all. Danielle was our single friend until she married Delvin. And I have never once treated Danielle different from any of my married friends, like ever. Danielle was at my house all the time, and I'm a married woman. Like Danielle was my sister. Like I never treated her different. But even with that, you still, as a married person, you have to have boundaries, even in that. So.
And Monique, to what Averi was saying about the single friend, yeah, we're in no way saying not to still have single friends, because back to that group I was telling you about when I moved here, and then we became let me go back. So they had that group chat. Delvin didn't even know the group chat existed because it was only the married people.
Yeah, in the group chat.
So when he got married, we were both invited to join the group chat. Well, after we were invited, there was a divorce in that group chat. But I had become very close with the wife.
Yeah.
And so there became, I guess, it wasn't a picking side thing. So the group made the decision that, we didn't let Delvin and Danielle in until they were married, and y'all are divorced. Y'all can't stay in this group chat. But some of the guys are still friends with the guy. I am still close with the wife, even though they're divorced. And again, you got to know, like you said, boundaries. So she's not up in arms if we have a couples thing she's not invited to. Y'all did couples things all the time when I was a part of the group. I didn't feel any kind of way. I mean, it just reminded me that, I need to find a man. But but I didn't feel left out because I knew, again, none of y'all ever treated me any differently. But I understood that I wasn't in a relationship or married, so there was no reason for me to be at a couple's dinner. That just didn't make sense.
Keisha, you go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just gonna say I had a friend who she was going through a rough time a while back, and to this day I feel guilty because she was like, "Well, I need a place to stay," and back then in my mind I was like, "Girl, I got a whole husband. I don't want you you can't come and stay." But, she later on, fast forward, she ended up, dating. And she was like, "Well, let's go out on a date." And I'm like, "You dating, but you're not in a relationship to where it's like 1 month or 2 months it may be John, 3 months it may be Paul.
Oh, she's like, casually dating.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, like I don't want to, I don't want to go and be involved in something like that. So I beat myself up. Long story short, I beat myself up for a while because I was like, was I a horrible friend or what?
No.
Did I have trust? Did I have trust issues that like I couldn't trust my friend? Enough to be, around my husband long enough, or like,
that's boundaries.
So
that's boundaries. You don't, even if you trust your friend and you trust your husband, you don't open the door and leave opportunity for something to happen. You don't want to mess your relationship up, and you don't want anything to happen between you and your husband up. Give it a chance for something to mess your marriage up. That's boundaries.
Right. So now, so moving forward, and now I'm like, I would love to do, a couple dates or stuff like that, but I want you to be more secure in your relationship in order for me to get my husband, who's a introvert, out the house to say, okay, I want to do this. Let's try it. Because I don't want to, the first time we go out, I traumatize him.
And he don't ever come out again.
I trusted you, Keisha, I trusted you. And you failed me.
Girl, you get this man out the house, and then she with somebody else the next week, and he like, hold up now.
Girl, I messed up. Do you hear me? He would never go out with me again. Somebody
Monique, if he like Corey, girl, be they call the man the wrong name,
girl, because Corey surely do it. He would.
Look, my husband would do it, and he'll tell me like, Keisha, what's her name? What's his name again?
Yeah, don't do it. And you are not a bad friend from that. You guys still have your individual friendship, and you hang out with her. But she's not in a committed relationship yet. And you already know your husband. Now, if your husband was type of guy like you, he don't mind just going out having a good time with her and her casual dates, that wouldn't be no issue. But your husband ain't like that. He's not with the shenanigans. So I would not do that. I just wouldn't.
Oh, he's not with it. I'm sorry. Like, he's a tough cookie trying to get him out the house and do stuff like this.
Okay, so next question. What are the benefits of having couple friends? So we talked about having couple friends and how to make couple friends. For the people who may be listening, who have trust issues, who are introverts, who team no new friends, who I'm good. What are the benefits of having couple friends? Why should I make couple friends? Why should I give it a try? Danny and Delvin.
I think we kind of stand on, I think maybe you kind of answered it earlier with our biggest benefit has been the couples in the different stages of actually helping you just kind of navigate life, like as a friend, but also in your marriage when you're going through something, the highs and the lows, because everything is not always going to be high. Like Delvin said, we're at the age where our friendships are no longer on the surface friendships where it's just hi, hello. It's like you getting texts where people losing parents, kids, miscarriages, going through infertility issues, spouses. You might, so it's deeper than just, like they said, hanging out, just having a good time. So, you want those lasting, lifelong relationships that just help you grow as a person.
You're right about it.
Same thing.
Averi and Bruce?
The benefits are advice, accountability, people that you can lean on when you go through real life situations. Like she said, things happen in your life. For me, I'm the example, I guess, because I lost my spouse a year ago. And if I didn't have this group of friends, I wouldn't have people to be constantly checking up on me, mental health checks sometimes, sending me things, stopping by when they can, just letting you know that, okay, this happened to you, but it's not the end. It's not the end. You can still move on from this. And if you don't have those type of friends in your life, that's not even couple friends. It's just friends, period. But they do need to be aligned with you. I guess that's just another benefit. And I guess another benefit is that you can be yourself with those people. You don't have to like put on the facade and just like at work. You have some friends that you can be, some people at work that you can be friends with, but you know, this just my work friend or this somebody I could just like interject into my life and tell real life situations and stuff that you can trust. So you need to add something?
Yes, I'm just gonna tag along here and say the biggest thing for me would probably be support. I mean, when you can't go to single friends or family and you got those couple friends, I mean that's like an extension of family there when you have them. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is support.
Oh, that's good. Y'all, that was so good. Avery, I want to piggyback on what you said about the facade. Y'all know me, as I've already said a million times tonight. I purposefully asked y'all to come and be a part of this conversation because we are real life friends. Mm-hmm. It is nothing more freeing to have a group of people that you can just be yourself with. Like you ain't gotta put on, you ain't gotta pretend, you ain't gotta sugarcoat. I mean, I legit can just be myself with y'all. And not even just be myself by myself, even be myself in my relationship with my husband. Last year, and I'm not gonna go into details, but last year was one of the hardest years for me, just with a lot of stuff in my life, and my marriage being one of them. But last year was one of the hardest years for me in a lot of different areas, but my marriage was one of them. And when we went to Florida to surprise Danielle for her birthday, I don't know what was going on. But my husband and I, we were just in a rough spot. It was like stuff that, or even cause issues, were causing issues about nothing. Really, about nothing. And my girlfriend and her husband, we traveled together there to surprise Danielle. So we're in the car, and I don't know if y'all know, but if you're traveling with somebody, I mean, we just couldn't be in the car and pretend like ain't nothing going on. Cause I mean, this is life. These are people that you do life with. They know you. Whether I open my mouth, we make it to Florida and we see Danielle and surprise her and just having this amazing time now. We get in a much better place. But I'm saying all this to say, just to be able to be with people and do life with people that you can just be you. Like I didn't have to fake that whole time. Like we literally had our issues. We apologized to each other. We enjoyed our friends. We had a great time. It was just authentic and genuine and real. Like I didn't have to pretend or put on and be something that I wasn't. It was what I needed. And I was able to lean in on my girlfriends, and because I needed that, Danielle needed that, our other girlfriend needed that, and my husband was able to have that time with these other men who are also husbands who have their struggles and deal with the things that they deal with. And he was able to be rejuvenated from that trip and get what he needed. And we need that. Like we, not just he and I, but as couples, as people in relationships, as people that are married, that are trying to do life and face the things that we face, because life be life. It is just beautiful to be able to do that with people who love you and you love them, and be able to not do it alone, but to have that support, as you guys said, and that accountability and that like-mindedness. And it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. I said all that to say it's just beautiful. And I appreciate you guys. I really do. What are some challenges you can face making friends as a couple, and how can you overcome them? So we talked about all of this stuff, but let's be honest, it ain't always good. What are some challenges that we can face making friends as a couple, and how can we overcome those challenges?
Well, I can think of a specific challenge, not couple challenge, but I can give an example of when I transferred from Alcorn State, the real HBCU, to Mississippi State. So when I went to Alcorn, met like my group friends as freshmen and all that type of stuff there. And then I transferred from there, went to Mississippi State, and it was hard to make friends because when you transfer, I transferred as like an upperclassman, and most friendships are built in the freshman year.
Yeah.
So it's like when you meet friends from that aspect, you're the friend of somebody else, and you're not a part of their circle. So it can be very difficult to break that circle. And so that is one challenge that you can have with making friends with other couples. Like you said, if you meet someone, for example, you move somewhere new. For example, say Danielle moved to Orlando and I had all these friends, and then they didn't accept her because she wasn't a part of their original circle.
Yeah.
That can be a challenge. So that's just one a challenge that comes off of my mind right off the bat.
And for me, I think another challenge, and it goes back to what you and Averi was saying about the facade, is really knowing if people are really genuine on being your friend. Example, when I moved here, there was a person I thought that they were reaching out to be a friend, but it was a business. It was just a business. Don't laugh, them. It was a more of a business experience. And once I didn't want to be a part of their what they had going on, there was nothing else. And that bothered me, because I really thought I was going trying to meet people. So there are challenges of getting to know people and opening your heart and opening yourself up. That vulnerability, I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Vulnerability is, to me, is a very big challenge with making couple friends, because again, you've got to know who you can trust. Some of the stuff you're sharing, especially if it's not on surface level, this isn't stuff you want posted on Facebook or, talked about amongst the group in a group message or something. This is stuff that you want to keep confident. It may be something that you get over, and you don't want that hanging over your head as, the one time, Danielle said this, that, and the other, but we're over it. But now it's out there, and then everybody else is looking at your spouse sideways, and you're like, well, I didn't mean for it to become common, knowledge. So I think that's also a challenge that you face.
Amen. Averi and Bruce, what's your thoughts on this?
I think one of the biggest challenges would be consistency. I mean, once you pass that point of initially accepting the couple in and feel like you got a real connection, then it's kind of like, how can you keep that going? Like, you guys may hang out once or twice every 2 or 3 weeks, and after that it breaks down to a month, or it may go to 2 months, and then sometimes 6 months, and after that it's just like it's hard, and then you have to keep starting back over. And so I think that's one of the real challenges would be consistency, in my opinion. So
that's actually a really, really good one. I mean, that's a personal one from me. So let me ask you this. How do you, because the follow-up to that was, how can you overcome them? How do you think we can do better with that, with the consistency? Should we schedule it when the next time we're going to get together? Or what do we do to make sure we still hang out and get together?
I feel like, was that direct towards me?
Yeah, that's for you, Bruce.
I feel like you should just really try and put the effort out there to try to reach out to this person or this couple as much as possible. And if you're not really getting the feedback and response that you want after a certain amount of time, then I think you just got to cut ties, cut your losses.
Okay.
But now, how can you keep it together?
But at the same time, if this is something that you truly want, then I mean, you just gotta figure it out. Like, what's the disconnect that's going on here? How can we make this better?
Monique, I want to say to Bruce something he said. So one of the things I had it when I was in our group, we have it here. We don't have children. So our couple friends here, they all have at least one child. They are busy and everything. So we understand that that's going to take a priority over things that we do. But what we do is Sometimes it means I go to the kids' games. We hosted a Juneteenth party last year. And one of the things we had to do, because we wanted everyone to come, was bring your kids. They were like, you sure? We're like, yeah, they can be in the front room, we're right here. Because we wanted, if they were going to make the effort to try and come, we wanted to make it as easy for them as possible. So I think
that's dope.
For the consistency, everybody, you got to meet people halfway sometimes too, depending on their circumstance.
You know what, Danielle, I just have to say, I respect y'all for that, because most times people who don't have kids, who has friends who have kids, they don't understand. Like, they don't get it. So if my girl called me and she like, girl, let's go take this trip to wherever. And then I'm like, girl, you gotta let me know a month in advance, because I got kids. I got 4 of them things. So you gotta let me know ahead of time so I can plan. But I respect it, because most people who don't have kids, they don't get it. And majority of I'm not gonna say friends, but majority of the people that I associate with, they don't have kids. So when I'm not able to meet up, they don't get it. And it's like, well, we're not gonna invite Keisha because we already know, she can't come because she gotta find somebody to hold the kids down. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, I can't go. I'm sorry, I'm not there, because you don't get it.
And that's not fair, Keisha. I mean,
it's not. It's not.
I'm not new to this. I'm referred to as Miss Titi Danielle.
Oh, grandma.
Yes. One of our friends, she thought I was their grandma because I babysit them. So it's a running joke,
but you know what the crazy part is?
I mean, our wedding, and I wanted to mention this to Averi. She mentioned her late husband. You know how honored and how special I felt when Sean came to my wedding, because he didn't come to nothing.
Nothing.
But we had kids at our wedding because the lady and Monique helped me plan, and she said, "Are you sure you want to, pay for this many kids?" And I said, "Well, ma'am, if the kids don't come, can't nobody come, because all the babysitters gonna be at the wedding." So they got to be here, and they took over. But again, I wanted the people that were closest to me to be there, and if that meant they had to bring their kids, they had to bring their kids. So that's I feel like that you should have a talk with them about it, because that's not right. That's not fair. No.
I mean, I'm at the point now where I guess I can say I know now. Like, at first I was like, well, I want friends who don't have kids, because I was like at that turnip point. That I was the turnip. Like, I was there. I'm not. It's no shame in it. I was there.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
as I got older, I was like, you know what? Maybe I need more mommy friends, or more friends who, if you're not a mom and you're a person who desire to have kids, or wherever you may be at your point in life where kids are involved, I want to be around those type of people, because they understand, they get it. I want more people around me who love my kids just as I love them, or they want to have kids to where it's like we can resonate on some level.
Yeah.
And you get it.
Just a more diverse circle. Even if they don't have friends, people that respect the fact that you have kids. Because Danielle didn't have kids when we were friends. I said when we were friends. You know what I mean? When you were here in Mississippi and single, Danielle did not have kids, but Danielle respected the fact that I had kids, and Danielle loved my kids and did a whole bunch of stuff with my children as my single friend. So it doesn't necessarily be that they have to have kids, but you want people who respect the fact that you have kids, and as you said, love your kids just like you love your kids. So yeah. And I want to piggyback off what Bruce and Danny said about far as the consistency. Because if these relationships are important to you with these other couples, you got to put in the effort. Something that we did before all of my friends moved out of state and left me. Cue the tears. But before they all moved away, we started this thing over 10 years ago, where we started getting together for everything. Literally, we got together for everything. Our baby showers, weddings, job. We got new jobs. I mean, literally, we just got together to celebrate everything in our lives. And that's what we did, because that's how important our friend group was to us. That's why our relationships are still strong, even though everybody has moved away, because we invested in all those years. And that's the same way we have to treat our couple friends relationship. If it's important to us, we gotta, as Bruce said, be consistent. We gotta put the effort in and do the work. That wasn't always easy for us to get together the way we did. We all had life going on. We were married, we had kids, we had jobs. We were dealing with our own lives. We all had something with our parents, with health issues. We all were dealing with stuff. But we made sure, if your birthday rolling around, we getting together for your birthday. So you better put it on the calendar. I'll figure it out. But we're going to get together. But that's how important our friendship was to us. So we got to be able to do the same thing. If we're going to be consistent, if we're going to make these couple friend relationships a priority, we got to put the effort in. You know, we can't make excuses. We can't continue to put it off and think it's just going to happen. We just going to have these great relationships with one another, because it don't work like that. It's going to take a little effort. It's going to take a little work, but I promise you it's worth it. It's so worth it. Okay, Avery, what do you think? What are some challenges we face?
A challenge is finding out if y'all share the same goals. Because if they a couple, they not married, their goal might just to be intimate with each other, to have fun, you know, not to make it a lifetime thing, you know, just for the moment or something. And like Keisha was saying, you don't want to be hanging out with that person all the time. It's going to be a different person every time y'all get together. Or another challenge would be if you have to tiptoe around somebody's feelings all the time. Like, once y'all do establish the relationship, we've been hanging out. If I can't call you out on something that you're doing wrong, then, you know, that's an issue. Because I'm not trying to hurt your relationship. I'm trying to help you be a better partner to your significant other. So that's another challenge. Like, you have to be able to accept criticism.
So how do you overcome those? Because that was the follow-up to that. So if you're dealing with somebody who really don't want to commit, they're with somebody new all the time, they're kind of casually dating, and the other one where they don't want to accept accountability, they don't want you to tell them, you know, kind of call them out on their stuff. How do you overcome those things?
Well, I can personally say that I'm the person who sometimes, like, if somebody's trying to call me out on something and I don't want to hear it, I'll just shut down. Or I'm talking to that person for a while and they're like, oh, I must have said something you didn't like. Yeah. You know, but now that I got a better understanding of, if you got like a good person around you, you just like want to keep them around, you know. So you just have to be accountable for your action and apologize when you need to, or, you know.
Okay, y'all have answered all my questions tonight. So Keisha and Rashad, the floor is open. Did y'all have any questions y'all wanted to ask them?
I don't. I enjoyed what I heard. I got a lot out of it. And that's one thing that I like about these conversations, is that I can get something from other couples. And then it's also refreshing to know that other couples, when you don't verbalize it, there's other couples out there who are experiencing and going through a lot of the same or similar situations. So that's why, I like this group. And I thank you to both the couples who were able to share experiences, and even what I got from you, Keisha. I appreciate y'all.
Awesome. Thank you, Rashad. Keisha, what about you?
Well, I have a question for the wives. If your husbands are like introverts, how do y'all get them to the point to where you're like, I'm like, it's a serious. It's
okay,
serious.
Keisha, before you finish your question, let me say this. Don't point your question to the wives, because some of the wives are the introverted person. So point it to the spouse that's not.
Okay. You are absolutely correct. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me backtrack to anyone who's in the marriage. If your significant other is the introvert, how do you get that? How do you approach that person, your spouse? I would say, how do you approach them to say, look, let's have an open mind to where we are able to go out and, you know, mingle and network with other married couples? Like, what do you like? What's your,
I
how
think
do you approach that?
I think that you should just keep doing what you're doing and encouraging him and let him know like what type of person you think these other couples are and how they would be beneficial to y'all relationship. And you also just have to pray for your partner that they'll have an open mind to meet new people. Because a lot of times we might want like our partner to do something when we want them to do it. But at the end of the day, it's up to them to make that change.
Right.
You know, have to be encouraging and like I said, like pray for them to have an open mind when y'all do these type of things and hope that they do. And I don't think that it's going to be in your time. It's going to be like in God's time and in their time and when they want to do that.
Right. Okay.
It'll take years, but when it happens, you'll be like, you know what I'm saying? It
Not
wasn't
years. Not years. I get it though. I get it.
and then how old that lady was in the Bible who had that baby. What, she was like 80 or 90?
Get your friend, Monique. Get
We're
your
trying here.
Get your friend, Monique.
Answer that question.
You know what?
Sometimes it takes years
Get your
for
friend,
something to happen.
Monique.
It ain't no time. It ain't no time on it. I get it.
But like I said, just keep being encouraging. And I don't know, trickle. I don't know, tell him it's just gonna be me and you. And when he gets
But
there,
I don't want to trick. Okay, so I don't want to trick him. I want him to be comfortable. I want him to be comfortable enough to where he can say, you know, I really enjoy this couple. You know, like we should do this again. To where he's open enough to say, well, when we gonna meet up again? You know what I'm saying? Because we cool. It's just like I'm trying to get him cool enough to step outside of, you know, and just meet other married individuals.
what if y'all going to do something that he likes to do? Do you think he would want to go?
If we do something that my husband like to do, baby, we're gonna be in the woods. We're gonna be on the pump bank. Anything outdoors, we're gonna be doing that. And I'm not there. I'm there, but I'm not there with all the way there with him.
That's where that compromise come in.
Yeah, being comfortable to tell him about the people that you're going with as well. Like I feel like if you can really, if you know, let's say you know the wife really well and you know about the husband, like if they have anything in common or any type of common ground, can help people, not even just on the, you know, the couple aspect, but it could be career aspirations or professional things that people may have in common. Mm-hmm. That way it makes him feel like, you know, I have something, you know, more to talk about. Like my husband he a nerd. We both are. But we watch like, you know, engineering shows. He loves vehicles too. So he watches stuff about vehicles. So anytime he can talk to somebody, but if I'm about to take him around a friend, if I had a friend and her old man was a thug, a gangbang, I already know I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So I know I wouldn't even put him in the, you know, that situation. So I feel if you can find that common ground and like April said, it's still going to come in his time. But I do feel like with people, once they feel comfortable or you can make them feel comfortable, it's easier for them to compromise and say, okay, I'll at least give it a try.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate y'all's, you know, feedback. I really do. Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in.
Mo, thank you for having us.
Yes,
thank y'all for agreeing. I appreciate y'all so much. Well, you guys, that's it. Danny and Delvin, Avery and Bruce, thank you guys so much for joining tonight. I really appreciate y'all coming out, being my guests. Keisha and Rashad, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys have an amazing night, and we'll see y'all later.
And happy Valentine's.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's
Yes, happy Valentine's Day. Y'all have as much fun
I know
as
that's
I'm
right.
gonna have, because I know I'm gonna turn up.
Yeah. I'm talking
Enjoy your booze tomorrow. Bye, y'all.
You too. Love you,
All
Mom.
right.
Love you back.